Welcome to our Early Childhood Parent and Caregiver Town Hall. We're so excited you're here this evening. Thank you so much for pausing your evening routine. I'm a mother of 3 boys, and so I know this time is typically dinner, bath, and bed. So thank you so much for pausing and joining us. This is a webinar, so I can't see you. I'm hoping you can see me and you can see our slides and you can hear me, but I actually can't see you this evening. So I will be talking to you, but if I don't answer any questions that you might have, please feel free to email me or reach out afterwards, and I'm happy to answer those questions. I have received your questions that you've submitted beforehand, and so I've included those in the presentation tonight. My name is Shelly Brown. I'm the head of early childhood, and this is a photo of me with my 3 boys. I have Lincoln, who is a rising 2nd grader here at Wellington. Declan is a rising 1st grader, and in the photo I'm holding Cole, who will be 2 in just a couple of weeks. As you can tell, we are Chicago Cubs fans. I was born and raised here in Ohio, just west of Columbus on a small farm. We had pigs, corn, and soybeans. I moved to Chicago after my undergrad, and I lived there for 12 years. I taught in an independent school just north of Chicago, and I met my husband in Chicago. We had Lincoln, who will proudly tell you he is the only member of our family to actually be born in Chicago. And after we had Lincoln, we decided to move back to Columbus, which I consider home. I've been at Wellington for 7 years, all in early childhood for my entire career. And I'm just so thankful to be a part of this community and to welcome you to the Wellington community. Oops, sorry. Just so we all understand our language when we say different terms, I just wanted to clear up what our 4 divisions are. We have early childhood, and that is our little Jags, pre-K, and kindergarten. Our little Jags are 3 and 4-year-olds, pre-kindergarten, 4 and 5-year-olds, and kindergarten are those 5 and 6-year-olds. We have our lower school, which is our 1st through 4th grade. And our head of lower school is Miss Fiddler, and you'll hear from her as well as from me from different communication events. We have middle school, which is 5th through 8th grade, and we have 2 co-heads of middle school. And then we have our upper school, which is traditionally called high school, but here we call it upper school, and that's 9th through 12th grade. I just want to point out this photo. I chose this photo. It's from a couple years ago. One, I love it because she has her hands in dirt, which is what we love to have children gardening and learning where our food comes from. But this photo was a couple years ago, and this child is actually joining us in our Little Jags this year. So hopefully her parents are watching and they'll recognize that little jacket, and we'll see her on campus in just a couple of weeks. Here is a photo from last year at a really playful event. It was our field day for last year. And it's one of the pieces that we want to touch about this year is how we operated 5 days a week in class, in session for the entire school year. And we did that by really leaning on some COVID-19 safety protocols and really leaning into our community to take a commitment to do the best they can to keep themselves healthy. So this next slide will just show you a couple pieces for our protocols. One are masks. All of the adults, all of the students will be wearing masks indoors. I will tell you, the people who tend to have the hardest time with the masks are the adults. Our children in early childhood last year did very well with it. A couple of reminders to get that mask up over the nose, but they really, really did well with it. They just know to go to school 5 days a week, I wear my mask. We do ask parents to pack extras. We have masks here at school in case they need it, but children, when they get outside and they get sweaty, they'll often want to change their mask, or any type of moisture inside of their mask, they'll often want a mask change. We also keep those masks on when we're playing, but of course we take them off when we're eating our snack or eating our lunches. And so at that point, we do make sure we are at least 3 feet apart when we're eating because our masks are off. And so that's a really important thing to start working on with your children, of wearing our mask, taking our masks off. What do we do with them when we take them off? We fold them, and we can either put them in our pocket or put them into a Ziploc bag in our cubby. Our little Jags in pre-K will be eating lunch in their classrooms, and our kindergartners will be eating lunch in the Thomas family dining room. Our kindergartners will be able to have that experience with just first grade. We're dividing the lunches into 2 separate lunch times. So kindergarten and first grade will eat together in the dining room. We will keep kindergarten together and we'll keep first grade together. And my other favorite part about lunch is our teachers eat with them. So their own classroom teacher and the learning guide will be at their tables, helping them navigate the dining room, helping make sure they have colorful plates. Another piece of our COVID protocol is stay home when sick. I know this is really challenging, and as a working mom of 3, I completely understand that need to get out the door and get to where I need to be and that my child needs to be at school. But really, I truly believe we were here all of last year because people were monitoring their children and making sure that they were staying home when sick. We are not asking families to submit wellness checks via Veracross this year as we did last year, but I am asking you every day to just pause before you leave or whatever part of your routine it fits into and make sure your child is well. You can kind of do a visual check. I still do take my boys' temperatures. We're just in such a routine of it. They're just used to getting their heads beeped on the way out the door, but please keep them home if they're sick. If they do get sick at school, we have a school health professional on staff, Miss Goldfarb, and she would be the one who would be reaching out to you about next steps. We do have a learn from home option this year, like we did last year. And so students who need that option can learn from home for the first trimester. We are asking for a full trimester commitment for the learn from home. Last year we had a little bit more leeway with our 2-week option, and this year we're asking for that full trimester commitment from families to learn from home. We would allow 1 learning format change throughout the trimester with our approval of that piece. The learn from home option is set up so that the child can have a similar experience that they can have in the classroom. I will say with early childhood, we do need adults present for this to be successful. The child is Zooming in, or we are using Microsoft Teams this year, but they are joining that classroom live, and our teachers are in the classroom with a group of children. So for that child at home to be successful, especially navigating the technology piece, we really need an adult with that child to make sure that they're a part of the classroom and to make sure they have the materials that they need. We ask you to commit by August 20th, whether your family would like to learn from home or be a part of our classroom community in the classroom. And when you commit, you will go to Veracross. And this is just a little snippet from Veracross. And when you log in, you will see a wealth of information. You will see if your child's been here before, you'll see prior progress reports. If you can't find an email from a teacher or from me, there's actually email that lives in Veracross, and so you can find email communication from the school. You'll also see this orange button. It's up at the right-hand corner, and that's where you would click to say that you're learning from home or learning from school. And you also are able to opt in for aftercare. Aftercare is included in our Little Jags pre-K and kindergarten tuition, but we do ask you to register in advance. This just helps us with those staffing pieces to make sure we have enough adults to staff aftercare. So if aftercare is part of your child's schedule, you would go to Veracross and you would opt in, and you'll see some options there also for photo, if you opt in for your photo rights and some different forms that we'd ask you to fill out. Our aftercare program this year will stretch until 6 p.m. So our school day typically will begin at 8 a.m. We have a morning care that begins at 7:30. And that morning care is free of charge, and it's use it as you need it. And so some of our students are here every single day at 7:30 or 7:31 because that's how their family routine works. And other students are here just because they woke up early and they were ready to come to school. So that morning care is use it as you need it from 7:30 till 8. And then our aftercare, we do ask for registration, and that stretches from 3:15 till 6 o'clock. And then this is a map. This map is included on the Wellington Back to School resource page. I'm just going to walk you through the map quickly, but carefully, because it can get a little confusing. I'm going to start with Little Jags. Our Little Jags, for your drop off and pickup, you are actually dropping off and picking up in the back of the building off of Fishinger Road. When you come in Fishinger, you'll see a parking lot there, and you'll pull in, and you will have to park your car. It looks to be a drive-up area, but there will be school buses there. So you are not going to want to get stuck in the school bus lane. So you will come off Fishinger Road and you will park your car, and then you will walk your child to the black gate. And there's a playground right beyond that black gate. The little Jags often start their day and end their day on that playground, and so you can say your goodbye at the gate. If the weather is not so great and they're inside, you may walk your child to the classroom door, which is a small building right beside that playground. If you have a little Jag and another student at Wellington, we will reach out to you and we will confirm that you can also drop your other student off in this back entrance through a back door. There will be a teacher waiting there, and that teacher will help get your child to his or her classroom. And then at the end of the day, we will also walk children back to you, any siblings that need to come back here, so that you can just do a one-stop shop. And believe me when I say that is a really lucky deal, because you're not waiting in car line. You're parking your car, you're getting your little Jag, and then you'll also get the sibling as well. For pre-K and kindergarten, you will come down the Reed Road entrance, and when you turn in, you'll make an immediate right. You'll go past the Roberts Field, which is our soccer field, and you'll see 3 separate lanes. Pre-K and K is going to use the last lane, and you have 2 choices. One choice is you can park your car in this last lane and walk your child to the west entrance. And there's actually a sidewalk here that you would see. So you would walk down that sidewalk to the west entrance, and we are allowing little Jags pre-K and kindergarten families to walk their children to the door. I am asking you to stop at the door, just so that we don't have a lot of adults in the classroom with children. But you are able, if you'd like, to walk your child to the door. And I did see a question about if there was a sibling, and of course your sibling can walk with you as well. So I think it was a kindergarten and a first grade family. So you could walk your kindergartner to the door and then allow your first grader to walk himself to his classroom. That being said, you don't have to walk your child in. For some families, they just would rather pull up and we would take the child into the school. And so in that case, you would stay in your car, you would take this corner, and you'll see teachers waiting here. You'll open your door, we will take your child, and we will walk your child to his or her classroom. So there are 2 choices: park and walk your child in, or stay in your car and a teacher will walk your child in. I do ask, if you stay in your car, that you make that routine pretty quick, because there will be lots of cars behind you. So it should be open the door, see you later, and the child walks into school. For pickup, it's pretty much the same. Again, little Jags is picking up in the back, and then pre-K and kindergarten, you'll enter on Reed Road. You'll come to that 3rd driveway area. There's a fence here with some apartments, and you will actually stay in your car for pickup. And that has been the case for our entire, just at least since I've been here for 7 years, that we do car line pickup for pre-K on up through 4th grade. So you'll stay in your car. The teachers will be here with students, and there'll be cones. When you get up to an orange cone, a teacher will open your door and we will help your child into the car. Teachers are not able to buckle your child in. So either your child is buckling him or herself, or you are quickly getting out of the car, buckling, and then moving on. There is no pressure to move without buckling your child, but we do ask that the process is quick. You can ask all the questions and give all the warm and fuzzy high fives and hugs after we get going. Save that for later. Car line is a pretty quick process. If there's a sibling, so let's say you have a pre-Ker and a 3rd grader, you would pick up your pre-Ker here, and then you would just follow the cars here and pick up your 3rd grader at that main entrance where all of the lower school students will be waiting. Car line can be a little slow in the beginning, but trust us, it gets faster. You all get better, we all get a little bit faster. Safety is the #1 concern, but we do find the efficiency in it as we get moving after the first couple weeks. We are also really excited to be working with our specialists again this year. Last year, we still, again, to the students, the year felt really normal. They had wellness, they had library. Those classes took place in their classrooms. This year, our students will be able to leave their spaces, and they'll be able to go to a room and receive French instruction, and go to a room and have music. They'll go to a large indoor space for PE. So again, the special areas were there last year, but this year your students will be able to travel around the building. Once they get into kindergarten, they go to the art studio, into the science lab. And Little Jags and pre-K, those special areas are pushed into the classroom and part of their centers. But you will definitely hear your kindergartners talking about the science lab and the art studio. Checking out library books is really popular, going to the garden and planting and picking fresh fruits and vegetables. So all of those pieces will be a part of their really busy days. One space I wanted to clear up was the roar. And it was really funny this summer as I worked our summer program, how many people thought the roar was R-O-A-R. Our roar is R-O-H-R, stands for the Rick O'Hara Room. He was a head of school from 1997 to 2007, so for 10 years, and this room was named after him. It is a large indoor space. Early childhood uses it for PE. It is a place for morning care if it rains. Our morning care often takes place on the playground, but if it's raining, we use the roar for morning care, and our aftercare will also use the roar. So if someone tells you your child is in the roar, now you know what that acronym means. You'll also hear people refer to brain breaks, and a brain break is what some folks might call recess. A brain break is a time for us to take a break. It is a time for children to experience the playground, to create their own games, to solve those social conflicts. I love that our teachers go outside for brain break. There's a lot of learning that happens in brain break, and so we don't put that on someone else. Our teachers are a part of that learning. And I love that our fourth graders, our middle schoolers, they all go outside. We value that output of energy because we know we need that to settle for different types of learning. So when you hear brain break, or if your child says, I went on 2 brain breaks today, which they will, that is their recess time. A brain break can also happen indoors. Kindergartners do not rest like Little Jags and pre-Kers, but they might have a mindful moment. And so that picture on the left is them doing yoga. So they are having a brain break from a different type of learning experience. A brain break also might be a dance video where everybody's dancing, and if you walk by, you'll even see the teachers or sometimes the administrators dancing right along with the students. Homeschool partnership is so important. It's a piece that I feel we do really, really well. Communication is key, and we see you as an expert on your child at home, and that we become an expert on your child here at school. And we really work together to help your child be the best him or herself that she can be, or he can be. And so that partnership is key. We start the year with intake conferences, and that's a time for you to spill the beans about your child. And I'll get into those dates and times in a little bit. But that intake conference really sets the scene for that communication. We will ask you your preferred method of communication. Do you prefer a phone call? Do you prefer an email? And then you'll be able to communicate with your teacher quite often. I will send monthly emails that give you kind of a big picture for early childhood. Your teacher will send you a Friday weekly newsletter, and that newsletter is so key to read. It tells you what we've done, what's coming up, and then at the bottom will be a list of everything that's happening in the school, everything that you should know. So it's really nice to sit down on Friday or Saturday with that newsletter and just start marking up your calendar so you can be aware of what's coming up. And then we also use Seesaw. And Seesaw is an app, or you can log into your computer and it can be on your web browser. It is password protected, and it's pictures or videos with context. So that teacher will snap a photo of your child or a video, and we'll provide the context for you so you know what it's about. You're able to like it or leave a little message back, and the teacher will often read the message to the child, and the child might write you back that same day. You get to control this. You get to control how many times it pings you, or if you want it to never ping you. You can control if you want an email, if you want a text every time Seesaw's updated, or if you just want a little badge on your phone, or nothing at all. So the control is really up to you and how often that you get notified, but the content will be there every single day. I love Seesaw. My boys, we get in the car. I've been here all day with them. I know they've done lots of stuff. I ask them what they did all day, and without a doubt, I played or I did nothing. I played is a fine answer. I did nothing is not. So a lot easier for me is to say, gosh, I think you did something with fractions today. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you divided those shapes into 1/2? Because I saw it on Seesaw. And all of a sudden the stories start coming. And so that Seesaw piece for me is really a great tool to just elicit conversation at the end of the day. It also becomes a digital portfolio for your child through the whole course of the year. So it's really nice to look back, especially even around the holidays when my family's in town. We can flip through Seesaw and I can really show them my child through the whole year and the growth that they've made. Some items to bring for the first day and really moving forward is you're going to want to bring a backpack. And I always say err on the size of a larger backpack. I know your kiddos, especially those 3-year-olds, can be really tiny, but it doesn't change the size of the paper. The paper is still the same size. And so I would err on more of a normal size backpack instead of the toddler size backpack so that we can get everything inside. An extra set of clothing for all of our early childhood students. And that can be a bathroom accident, or it can just be a wet puddle or a thing of paint has fallen on them and they want to change their clothes. So an extra set of clothing that lives in the backpack, a water bottle that goes home each night, snacks. Our little Jags and pre-Kers will bring 2 healthy snacks, and our kindergartners will bring 1 snack, and all of those snacks should be peanut and tree nut free. And then if your child is here all day, they'll want to bring cozy items for rest time and little Jags and pre-K. And then in the wintertime, snow gear. And I've included a photo here of our students sledding. We play in the snow. The kids love it. It takes us longer to get 3-year-olds dressed than we are actually outside, but it's completely worth it to see them playing in the snow and to have that different sensory experience. I recommend that snow boots and snow pants live here, that you have a separate pair for here and a separate pair for home, but you can figure out what works for your family. And I just put in red, please keep all toys at home. We have a lot of materials here to play with, and it just makes it easier if you keep all of those toys at home. These are kind of events that are coming up right around the corner. On August 19th, in about 8 days, you will log into Veracross, and at noon, if all goes as well in Veracross world, you can log in and you can see who your child's teacher is. And so when we say class assignments posted, that means you will see who your child's teacher is. And then your child's teacher will actually reach out to you via email as well, of just a quick intro letter that same day. You'll also be able to sign up for intake conferences. So again, in Veracross, it's your go-to spot, and there will be a pretty obvious button, and you'll click that and you'll be able to see the times that are available for intake conferences. On August 22nd, we hope to see you all here on campus. We're welcoming new families at 1 p.m. We will start on Roberts Field, which is our big soccer field, and then we'll move inside and your child will be able to see his or her classroom. They can find their cubby space, they can find their desk, all the things that will make them feel more settled for that first day of school. They'll be able to meet their teachers and they'll be able to see some of their friends. And then our returning families will go through the same routine except at 2 o'clock. We will meet on Roberts Field. We will come inside. We'll be able to do all of those getting to know you activities, and then you'll be out the door. We do have some frozen treats that you can have on your way out. And we will also have a pre-loved uniform sale on the playground. And that is a great place, especially for our kindergartners and their first time wearing our dress code. It's a great place to find items that would work, your polos, your jumpers, your pants, anything that you might want to shop for would be available that day. On August 23rd are intake conferences, and we are offering a virtual or an in-person conference for that time. So you'll reach out to your child's teacher and let them know your preference. And then August 25th is the big day, the first day of school. I will tell you that your children will be a little nervous, and the teachers will be just as nervous, no matter how many first day of school it has been for them, for us, for you. It's exciting, and there's those butterflies, and they're good butterflies. Whatever routine you will see yourself doing all school year, I recommend you do on that first day of school. So if your child in kindergarten is riding the bus, put your child on the bus and follow the bus in your car. But please do that same routine that first day. It just helps set the scene for the entire year. After you get your child settled at the door, because we're not going to go into the classrooms, I invite kindergarten families to join for a parent coffee. And right outside of our dining room is a large patio, and it will have a tent, and then we'll have a little indoor space as well to grab coffee, some fruit, and some coffee cake. And this is a community building time. It's a time to get to know each other, but it's also a time that I'll be able to share some tips for this transition. And Danielle Gibbs, our school counselor, will also be able to share some tips for setting up some successful school routines. On August 26th, we invite the Little Jags and pre-K families to do the same thing. You can get your children settled and then join us on the patio for a coffee time. I listed 8 to 9:15. You do not need to stay till 9:15. So if you can only stay till 8:20, we would still love to have you there. That's really just an open window of conversation and time to meet each other. And then I just added on here to mark your calendars, September 14th will be our early childhood parent night. And this is a night for you to meet, again, your child's teacher, which by this point you'll know pretty well, but your child's teacher will have the opportunity to share the curriculum. So all the nuts and bolts about what they'll be doing in literacy and math and how that will look in a 3-year-old classroom to a kindergarten classroom. And so that's a really informative night. And so I would say mark your calendars now so that you can be in attendance for that night. In the meantime, between now and that August 25th, my advice to you is to do a little bit of practicing in playful ways. Have your children practice hand washing. I know for my boys, hand washing is a squirt of soap and they put their hands under for about 2 seconds and they walk away. So practicing singing the ABC song, singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, whatever you want to come up with, happy birthday, washing hands, washing all sides of our hands, in our fingers. Hand washing is the #1 way for us to stay healthy. COVID or no COVID, hand washing is key to us staying healthy. We will wash our hands when we enter the classroom. We will wash our hands when we leave the classroom, and then of course before and after eating. So practice that hand washing so that this isn't a surprise when the teachers tell them, I think you need to wash your hands a little bit longer. Practice wearing a mask. For some children, they've been doing this all summer, or they've been doing this when they go to Target, whatever it might be, but practice wearing a mask. Again, the more positivity we can put around it, the more that they will be okay with it. And I promise you, most of the kids have been. Just up and over our nose. I always say we don't want a chin diaper. We don't want our mask under our chin. So we want up and over our nose and pretty snug against our faces. And then those mask transitions. How do we take our mask off? What do we do with our mask when we're not wearing it? You can fold it and you can put it in your pocket, you can put it on the table. So just practicing those transitions are important. Goodbye routine with our youngest learners, so important. And once you establish a routine, don't look back. I promise you they're in good hands. I promise you we've got this. My family's, it's 3 hugs and a kiss goodbye, and I leave. And then morning and evening routines. The school day begins at 8 a.m. and we'd like you to be here by 8:15. So just starting to shift the morning up for families who need that shift up. And making sure we get to bed on time and we have a nice long night of sleep. I'm just going to end with this photo. This was a photo from last year. It was in the summer, and the entire school gathered on Roberts Field. We broke a Guinness Book of World Records, and I have to look at my little note, for the most people in a blue shirt at one time. That was a big deal. We broke a record, but I think every adult that was on that field took a minute on this beautiful sunny day and took that deep breath and said, we did this. We started a year in a pandemic. We stayed open all year, but not only did we stay open, our students were healthy and they were thriving. We had moved beyond surviving to thriving. And to have that moment as a school community to say, we did this, and whether the 3-year-olds recognize it or not, but the adults did, really takes your breath away. We learned a lot. I feel like we're even better than we were last fall, but we're going to do it again. And we might not break a world record for wearing the most blue shirts all at one time, but we are going to give your children and you an amazing school year. I have no doubt about it. And I'm so excited you're all a part of our LEAP, which our LEAP is a group of Jaguars. So welcome to the community. If I did not answer your question tonight, my contact information, my email is on the left-hand side, and that website is on the right-hand side, and it is a very handy place to look for information. If you don't see what you're looking for, please don't hesitate to email or give me a phone call, and I'm happy to have a conversation. So I'm so excited to see you in person at one of these events, and no matter what, I'll see you on August 25th for our back to school. Thank you.